Am I the a-hole for destroying my best friend's proposal because I believed she was being kidnapped? So this actually happened last weekend, and I'm still shaking. My best friend, Emily 29F, has been dating her boyfriend, Chris 31M, for about 4 years. I 28F love her to death, and I've always supported their relationship even though Chris is eccentric. He loves surprises and stuff. Think flash mobs and scavenger hunts that no one asked for. Anyway, I was visiting Emily. We were walking around catching up when this unmarked white van comes up next to us. 2 masked men jump out and grab her. She begins screaming. I freak out. So I did what any sane, frightened human being would do. I grabbed my pepper spray, legal where I am, and yelled bloody murder and went wild. Sprayed one dude in the face, kicked another in the shin, and literally pulled Emily back by the coat while yelling for 911. Turned out it was Chris and 2 of his buddies. They were attempting this strange prank kidnapping into surprise proposal situation cause Emily wanted a proposal like in the movies. Chris was yelling, crying over the pepper spray. Emily was scared while the cops arrived. It was chaotic. Now Chris is angry. He tells me I ruined the most significant moment of their lives and embarrassed him in front of everyone. Emily tells me she understands why I freaked out, but wishes I'd read the room. But how was I going to know? It seemed real. She was crying they had masks, and IT was a literal van. Everyone's acting like I overreacted, but I genuinely thought she was being trafficked. Am I the a-hole for spoiling the proposal? Top comments. Read the room? Read the room? 2 guys snatch up your screaming friend on the street, and she's telling you to read the room? What if someone else had called 911? What if someone else on the street saw and just started wailing on them? What if other people started going on local media about a girl's getting grabbed up? This was a poorly conceived prankposal, and you did what anyone else should have done. Not the a-hole. Your friend and her boyfriend are dumb butt. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving my own birthday dinner early after my boyfriend showed up with 3 of his friends uninvited? I 26F planned a small birthday dinner at one of my favorite restaurants, just 5 of my closest friends and my boyfriend 28M. I reserved the table. I wanted it to be a chill, intimate night with the people who matter most to me. When my boyfriend arrived, he brought 3 of his friends that I barely know. No warning. No, hey, do you mind? Just a casual. They didn't have plans, figured it'd be fun. It completely changed the vibe. The restaurant had to rearrange the table, and suddenly this dinner I planned turned into him holding court with his buddies. They dominated the conversation with inside jokes, barely acknowledged my friends. I felt like an extra at my own event. I tried to stay polite, but I was honestly upset. After about an hour of feeling invisible, I pulled the server aside, paid the entire bill including for his friends, told everyone I wasn't feeling well, said a warm goodbye to my friends and left. Later that night, my boyfriend texted saying I was dramatic and made him look bad in front of his friends. He said I should have just gone with the flow and that I ruined the night for everyone. I didn't yell. I didn't cause a scene. But now he's acting like I was out of line. Am I the a-hole for walking out of my own birthday dinner? Top comments. Not the a-hole. What he did was rude and ruined your planned dinner. You were very generous to pay the whole tab. You don't say whether this is a pattern with him or not. If it's a pattern, I'd suggest making him your ex-boyfriend. If not, you need to have a serious talk about why what he did wasn't cool. If he doesn't get it and offer you a sincere apology, I'd, once again, suggest making him your ex-BF. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my husband's kids so he can have some time off? My 29F husband, 34 meters, has 3 kids from a prior marriage. 11 meters, 7 meters, 6 meters. They are absolutely terrors, as both of their parents have struggled to agree with parenting and rules. When I met my husband 4 years ago, he stated that he isn't looking for a mom for his kids. His kids have 2 parents, and he's looking for a wife for himself. I like kids, but I've never wanted any of my own. I was open to the idea of him having kids. Back when we dated, he had the kids on weekends. Things were fine with them. He never expected anything from me regarding the kids. I told him I'm not interested in babysitting, and he said he'd never ask me to. He'll just hire his niece to babysit if he needs a babysitter. Long story short, in the last year, they've moved from weekends to 50-50. Since the kids are old enough to not need their mom as much, this was always the plan. One parent has the kids for a whole week, and other has the kids the next week. Husband lost his job and got a new job that pays less. Niece also went off to college. Husband can't afford any of the local babysitters because they charge, quite frankly, a lot. The kids are terrors, so babysitting does not come cheap. Husband is also now making less money. This weekend was his friend's bachelor party. Husband is a groomsman and was expected to attend. Last minute, he asked me to watch the kids for the entire weekend so he can attend this event. He thought it would be no big deal, and I would definitely agree. I was kind of miffed that he waited till last minute to ask me. I told him that I can't because I have to go to the gym, and I have brunch plans with my mother. And honestly, I just don't want to. Sounds like a good way to ruin an otherwise good weekend. Also, why would I watch the kids so their dad can go get plastered and ogle strippers with his friends? No thank you. Not like it was an emergency or something. Dan was very upset because he couldn't go. I brought up the fact that before we got married, he told me he wouldn't expect me to watch the kids ever. He seemed surprised because he thought I would have changed my mind. I told him I'd watch them if there was an emergency, but otherwise no. I didn't have kids because I didn't want the responsibility of them. I like his kids. I cook for them sometimes and take them out to do stuff occasionally. I show up to their sports games. But this is for me and the kids. I would say that they all really like me because I don't try to meddle and pretend to be their mom. I'm their dad's wife that they like. I love Dan, but I think he needs to not try to shirk his responsibility as a father. He signed up for this. Having kids means you don't always get to do the things you want to do. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Their mom won't switch weekends with my husband. She makes plans for the weekends when my husband has the kids. She's not going to cancel her plans last minute because he doesn't have a babysitter and wants to go out with his friends. Top comments. Not the a-hole. If he has the money for the bachelor party and strippers, he has the money for a sitter. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé I don't want his best man coming to our wedding after what he did at my birthday dinner? So I'm 29F and my fiancé 31M, and we have been together for 4 years. We are planning our wedding for later this year, which has been going great except for one person. His best friend Kyle. Kyle is one of those dudes who peaked in high school and is so insufferable. He is always making unnecessary jokes that seem like insults to me. But my fiancé says he's just goofy and immature, and so I've tried to keep my peace. Anyway, my birthday was 2 weeks ago. Nothing big happened, just a dinner at a nice restaurant with close friends and family. Near the end of it, someone mentioned the wedding and how everything was going, and my fiancé answered and said we were writing our own vows. I said I was nervous but excited. Then Kyle said loudly, I think everyone present in the restaurant heard it. That's how loud he was. Just don't cry halfway through your vows like you did during your breakup, remember that? The table went dead silent. In the moment I laughed it off cause I didn't want to create a scene there. But I was humiliated. My dad was present there and my fiancé was aware of that breakup. It was abusive and traumatic. I later told him how hurt I was and he said Kyle was just being Kyle and you know how he is, babe. So I sat on it for a few days even though I was hurt. But then finally I told him I don't want Kyle at the wedding. Not at the rehearsal. Not giving a speech, nothing. Nowhere, I just don't want him there. Now my fiancé is saying I'm overreacting. That Kyle was just trying to be funny and kicking him off the list would destroy our 15 years of friendship. But honestly, if Kyle cannot respect me, then why should I allow him to stand next to the man I'm marrying? So am I the a-hole for refusing to have Kyle at the wedding after all this? Top comments. Not the a-hole. I hate when people like this get away with their terrible behavior because their closest people say, oh, that's just how they are. As if you have to tolerate the disrespect because they don't know any better. He can't respect you at dinner in a restaurant. He won't respect you at your wedding. I'd be afraid he does something he thinks is funny which would ruin it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my grandparents' house my childhood home after I bought it? My girlfriend 25F and I 25 meters bought my grandparents' house at the start of the year. My grandparents wanted to downsize, and when they told us this, we told them we'd love to buy it from them. Started this process last year and they agreed. They also gave us a really amazing bargain because they wanted to help us with our forever home. I was so happy because it's the house I really considered home as a kid, and it still felt that way to me. For some background to explain it, my parents had me younger since they were 19 and 21, and it meant my grandparents really had to step up to help with me. Even though my parents technically raised me and I technically lived with them, I spent far more time with my grandparents. I was at their house Monday through Friday before and after school, and from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every summer. There were times I spent a week or two at their house while my parents were especially busy or if they wanted to vacation without me. My parents settled more and started having more kids when I was 11, and I was pressured to spend more time with them and at home so I'd bond with my siblings. This meant I didn't spend as much time with my grandparents at their house. But it never stopped being the place I felt was home. I'd even say my grandparents were more parents than my actual parents were when I was a kid. So my girlfriend and I bought this house together, and we told our families after it was official. My parents took offense to me calling it my childhood home. They said I grew up living with them and was raised in their home. My grandparents reminded them I spent more time in their now mine and girlfriend's house than my parents' house. That wasn't good enough for my parents. They said it was insensitive and was a dig at them. And I said that wasn't what this was. I told them it as about what felt true to me. My parents said it was disrespectful to them, and I wouldn't change their mind. That I should have known better. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole sounds like your parents might need to think a little more logically and a little less emotionally. Next story. Am I the a-hole for giving my husband a pregnancy test as a birthday gift? Hi, I am F23. My husband's M25 birthday was 1 week ago. We've wanted a baby for a really long time, and when I found out I was pregnant, I was so excited. Knowing my husband's birthday was in 3 days, I decided to keep it a secret and give the test to him as part of his birthday gift because he wouldn't be expecting it. In my head, it would make it more shocking equal exciting. At least that's how I thought it would be. Perhaps that was a dumb thought. Now, this was not going to be a big party with tons of people. My husband didn't want that, so it was just going to be the two of us. He was going to open his gifts. We were going to eat a nice dinner, and it was going to be chill and intimate. With this in mind, I didn't think giving him the pregnancy test as a gift would be a problem at all. If it were a big party, I wouldn't have done it because it would have taken the entire focus off of him. But this was a small party, just me and him. When it came for me to give him his gifts, the pregnancy test was in a small box, and I told him to open it last. He was super happy with all of his gifts, and when he opened the box with the pregnancy test in it, his demeanor changed. He seemed upset. I asked what was wrong, and he said it was a stupid gift. And how could you hide something like this from me? You knew this for so long and hid it? I explained to him it was 3 days. I thought it would be a wonderful gift. Like I said, we've wanted a baby for so long, and I thought he'd be happy. He said that he was happy, but the timing for me to tell him was horrible, and that it was his birthday, not a celebration of pregnancy. I was confused, hurt, upset. So many emotions at once. I called him immature, and that led to a fight. He slept on the couch that night. This past week, he hasn't talked to me too much. Whenever I try to bring it up, he says, "Just stop, we're past it. It was dumb of you." Stuff like that. He doesn't tell me how happy he is, or any celebration about us being pregnant. Whenever I talk to him, he doesn't really reply. It's just yes or no, or a grunt. I feel horrible. I didn't think this would be a bad gift. I thought he'd love it. Am I the a-hole for doing this? I really thought it was okay, but I'm starting to think he's right. I shouldn't have done this. Update. I don't really know if this is considered an update, but after reading replies, I had to clear up a few things. 1. No, my husband has not ever acted this way towards me before. We've argued before, but it has never led to the point where he ignores me. 2. To all the comments asking what I mean by wanting a baby for a really long time, we've been married for 4 years, and we agreed from the start about wanting children. 3. Yes, we've been trying to have a baby, I didn't stop taking birth control secretly, nor did we stop using protection accidentally. This was something we were both originally wanting. 4. I didn't tell anyone before him. He was the first person to know. 5. I thought I clearly stated we were alone for the party, but we were alone. There wasn't other people around to hear. It was just us. 6. Also, I don't know how to get rid of these numbers, so ignore them. But I don't want to kick him out or leave him. I really would appreciate advice on how to go about talking to him if you have any advice. Top comments. My husband reacted like this after actively trying for a baby. Found out later he had a girlfriend on the side and felt equal parts guilty/trapped. I'm not suggesting it's the case here, but the response to baby news in a healthy relationship would be joy, not this. Gird your loins, darling, and good luck. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel our posts.